What is up, my fellow Chibits? Today, I'm here to bring all of you my first impressions on a new anime from Studio Trigger. Now, that title, Kiznaiver, it's a work in progress. It's gonna take a bit for me to kind of figure out how to pronounce it, but anyways, a new anime series from Studio Trigger has just come out, and this series is probably one of the most anticipated anime from Spring Anime 2016, because it's a series that many have known about for a little bit now, and have seen Trigger kind of advertising it, kind of keeping a lot of things hidden about this series, but it has been advertised a little bit, and some have been expecting this to be a very good series. And so the first episode has finally aired, just aired today, and if you're interested in Studio Trigger, if you like their previous works, I think you should give this a shot, because it does have everything that Studio Trigger is well known for. To the wacky animation, to the crazy art style, to the bizarre setting, to the characters, alongside of just some quirky personalities and all sorts of other things throughout the episode. It's definitely something that we've all come to know and love when it comes to Studio Trigger. So, the first episode, to dive into the meat of it, like for instance, the premise and stuff like that, the first episode doesn't really give us a whole lot to go on. It's up in the air of what really the plot's going to be about at the end of the day. And to do like some form of connection to another series, to this series, I was reminded of Kokoro Connect. Now, the situation of Kokoro Connect is a little bit different compared to the situation our characters are in this episode, but if you know about Kokoro Connect, you might know that there's some similarities when it comes to some points to where the characters are in a situation where they're all linked. And when you see that, you're like, that is a little bit similar, different, but a little bit similar. But enough of that though. So what is it about? Like, what is this series about? So, like you, I'm just as lost. All I know at this time is that there is supposedly references to the 7 deadly sins, and our main cast of characters are going to be the 7 deadly sins, and they're all connected and they share pain. For instance, if you were to get like a cut on you, they would feel pain as well. It doesn't look like they would visually get a cut on them, but they would feel the pain as well. So because of that, it seems like, a bunch of characters, if something happens to them, if they break an arm, break a leg, or whatever, it would also affect the other character. Now, we don't know to the extent of how much is shared. For instance, we don't know if, like, let's say someone breaks a bone, if this other person's bone will be broken too, or if just the pain will go over to that person. And, I mean, a person can die. If you experience so much pain at once, a person could go into shock and die. So, there is a possibility, even if the pain gets transferred but the bones don't break or something, there's still a possibility if the pain is that intense, they could still die, which leads into some of the main, I guess, situations that we can expect from the series. For one, characters avoiding hurting each other. Number two, our main character, which is a very average main character, which he's intended to be average, isn't he? He's intended to be a little bit boring, or someone that doesn't really have much of a personality in the first episode. He's a character that cannot feel pain, and obviously from the way this first episode is depicted, he was experimented on when he was a little boy, and now he can no longer feel pain. And because of this, no matter what happens to him, for instance, someone punches him in the face, makes his, gives him a broken nose, he starts bleeding everywhere, he doesn't show fear, he doesn't show like he's really scared or he feels any pain, he doesn't feel any pain. And this puts him into many situations where many just are kind of upset with him, or they're disgusted, or they can't, carve their own self inside of him. For instance, changing him and make him fear them and then run away and stuff, like normal reactions would be if you were getting bullied. And this kind of shows the situation our MC is in, and what he's probably going to do to our other cast of characters, because let's face the facts here. The MC is linked to everyone else, and no matter who experiences pain, everybody experiences the pain. So it's not just a one-way ticket. For instance, if one character gets hurt, they all feel it, but the main character doesn't. If one character gets hurt, the main character feels it, everybody feels it. But here's the thing, though. The main character still, from what I could assume at the end of the episode, still cannot feel pain. So that lets us know that the main character, since his personality is to where he just doesn't care if he gets hurt or anything, he doesn't really know how it feels. And so he's going to get probably abused, beat up, bullied, and shit every day. And the other characters around him, the other main characters, are going to experience that pain and feel the pain. And they're going to probably try to change the main character to where he will actually learn to not want to just be like he is, to where he doesn't care if he gets punched or not. So I like that. I like where the, story is going, but there still needs to be a little bit more beef when it comes to the plot, because at this time, though, But that's really all we know about. Now, I just did a little bit of speculation, but for the most part, though, we don't really know much information. I mean, it is the first episode, and at the end of the day, you shouldn't expect everything to be answered, especially when it comes to a Studio Trigger series, because they're well known for keeping everybody in the dark and doing some crazy plot twists later on and stuff, especially in the midway, halfway of the series, and that's usually what happens in their previous works they've done. So, we'll have to see. Well, I'm going to give it a couple episodes, we'll see where it goes. I'm expecting great things from this series, because, I mean, it's by Studio Trigger, and everything they usually make is pretty damn good, besides, you know, some other series they made in the past that, you know, had a lot of controversy with it, for instance, like Ninja Slayer. But for the most part, though, Trigger usually makes a lot of good shows, and so I'm looking forward to this series and seeing where it goes. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.